Okay, folks. I'm officially bored with Identity 5. Like, after 5 years of playing this game, I need to vent. I mean, some of you guys I met back then were probably still in middle school. Now you're in college. That's a long time, right? I mostly stick to casual matches and the occasional duo hunter because, let's be honest, rank is a whole other level of stress. I don't need any more stress in my life thanks to games. Anyway, even in these relaxed modes, there are things that make me want to throw my phone across the room. Now, I'm not here to just complain. You've probably got enough to worry about already. Instead, I'm here to share the struggles, the frustrations, all the moments that we all experience in this game, and hopefully, we can all have a good laugh about it. So, grab a snack and settle in. This is your broadcaster Somina, signing in. First, let's talk about ping. It is the ultimate wild card in this game. Honestly, it's like a chaotic little gremlin hiding in the code waiting for the perfect moment to ruin your day. Like, just imagine this. You're out here slaying as Grace, all smooth and majestic, and then you're doing the backstroke in the air because your ping decided to throw a tantrum. Like, excuse me? Can't a hunter enjoy their glory without the internet throwing shade? Honestly, because of this, I started to think that Identity 5 matches are less about skill and more about who's got the better internet connection or whose server decided to behave. You can spend hours training, fine-tuning your gameplay, mastering your character, and still lose because ping said, "Not today, sweetie." On the flip side, you could be flopping harder than a fish out of water, but the server decides to bless you by spiking someone else's ping. Suddenly, you're a pro, collecting survivors like Pokemon. At this point, it's not even about strategy. It's about praying the IDV gods don't mess with your connection. And honestly, doesn't it feel like someone's pulling the strings behind the scenes? Like, oh hey Orpheus, are you out there messing with my ping just for giggles? Orpheus bro, if you're listening, stop whatever you're doing. Ping is the silent villain of Identity 5, and honestly, I don't know if we should laugh, cry, or just accept that every match is a gamble. Either way, it's a ride, and we're all strapped in for better or worse. Now let's talk about these so-called genius teammates, shall we? The ones whose brilliance makes you question every life decision that led you to queue up for that match. Genius might be too generous, though. I mean, what's the alternative? Dumb? Clueless? Here's the scene. You're standing at the open gate, sweet victory within arm's reach. Just a few steps, and you're free. But no, these wannabe heroes decide, you know what? Let's make this a disaster. Suddenly, they're bolting back toward the hunter like it's a TikTok challenge, aiming to rescue that one poor teammate who's not just in a chair, but in the basement. And let's not forget, the hunter has detention. Meanwhile, the rest of us are yelling, "Leave, for the love of God, leave." But do they listen? Of course not. Their motto? Relax, guys. I'm a pro. Fast forward 20 seconds, and what do we have? Genius teammate has joined their chaired buddy in the Manor Express. The hunter's grinning like they just won the lottery, and the rest of us are standing there like, what the actual duck happened here? Worse? It's a rank match. Because obviously, these people save their worst decisions for when it really counts. Oh, and of course, that was the match to determine your promotion. Or, you know, your demotion. And the absolute disaster? Rank ends right after that bloody match. Chef's kiss. Honestly, moments like these make me glare at the uninstall button harder than the hunter glaring at their next target. But do I actually uninstall? Nah. Here I am, still suffering, still praying the matchmaking gods bless me with teammates who have at least half a functioning brain cell. Because this is why Identity 5 is both the love of my life and my biggest enemy. The rank disparities in quick matches and duo hunters are truly absolute nightmare fuel. Like, sure, it's supposed to be the chill, fun mode, but when you're sitting there as a cute little elk, minding your business, and suddenly you're up against 2 manticores? Honey, that's not a match. That's more like a massacre. I mean, hello, Netties. Can we get some matchmaking logic up in here? And okay, sure, it's a quick match or duo hunters, so in theory, we're all here to relax. But, honey, there's no relaxing when you're being chased by 2 hunters who play like they've been training for a world championship. Seriously, I'm just out here vibing, trying to decode a cipher, and these manticores are treating me like I stole their lunch money. And when it happens once, fine, I can just treat it as a bad luck. It happened again? Okay, I'll take a deep breath and move on. But 3 times in a row? Well, sweetie, at that point, it's no longer a game. It's a psychological experiment to see how quickly you'll lose your mind, and it's pretty quick. If this keeps up, I might need a support group for players who've been traumatized by matchmaking. Or at least some therapy sessions to process why I keep coming back despite all the chaos. Like seriously, Netties! Please have mercy on us lowly elks. We're just trying to survive out here. Violetta's story in Closing Night is already heartbreaking, right? Like, all she wanted was to perform and feel the warmth of a hug again. How could you not sympathize with that? So, naturally, you buy her, start playing, and think, alright, let's get this redemption arc going. Well, let me tell you a story, darling. Violetta's story in the Closing Night? That's merely a fairy tale compared to what you're about to experience in-game. Because here's the plot twist. You, as Violetta, get baited by an enchantress and then proceed to get kited for 4 whole ciphers. That happened to me. By the time I was done with that nonsense, I was already in full-on rage quit mode. Forget about the survivors escaping. I was the one who needed to escape. That's right, escape from the trauma. I mean, seriously, as a hunter, when you get taunted by survivors, it's like the ultimate slap in the face. They're over here dancing around you like they're auditioning for the next championship and you're just trying to get one decent hit in. Oh, but no. You're the one getting played like a fiddle. And you're supposed to just sit there and take it? Nah, I'm sorry. I'm hitting the surrender button at that point. If that's what it takes to escape this hellscape, then fine, game. I'll leave you be. Like, let's be real. After getting baited like that, there's no way you're sleeping for the next 2 days. Every time you close your eyes, you're reliving that enchantress dance, and it haunts you like the worst nightmare ever. But hey, at least Violetta's story was tragic. If she knew what we go through as hunters, she'd probably be praying for a happy ending. YOYO, or You're on Your Own, is the ultimate universal curse in Identity 5. It's like a little softer, more PG version of the F word, but with the exact same level of emotion behind it. I mean, seriously, these survivors have managed to craft an entirely new way to express everything that's wrong in the world. It's almost impressive how efficient they are at spreading negativity through tiny little words. So here's the scene. You're out here being a whole acrobat as Chi-Shi-Yi, dodging hunters like a champ, thinking you're on top of the game. And then red ping strikes like a slap to the face, and by the time you're back, you're already in a rocket chair. Wonderful! And then, YOYO, out of nowhere, this random Helena decides to throw that magic word out there like it's some sort of motivational speech. Like, hello? Do you think yelling yo-yo is gonna magically save me? Well, surely I can't just let that slide. So I throw my own yo-yo back at her. Because why not? At this point, it's clearly not gonna help. But hey, we've got to vent somehow, right? Then, just when you think it couldn't get worse, the doctor chimes in with a yo-yo too. Because of course, no one came to help her after being down in 11 seconds. Then we're all just throwing out yo-yos like it's confetti at a party, but in a somber tone. And the female dancer? The last hope of the team? She did her best, kiting and decoding like a champ. But of course, she gets caught too. And what does she say? Yo-yo. At this point, I'm just thinking, can we please just drop the pretenses and say the F word instead? Because honestly, the meaning's the same, and I'm pretty sure that would save us all a lot of time. Duo Hunters Match is the place where all survivor peculiarities are brought to life. If you've ever been there, you'll know the drill. Either no one's decoding or no one's rescuing. There's literally no in between. You'd think this game mode was about teamwork, right? Wrong! It's all about who can screw over their teammates the hardest without even realizing it, or maybe they do realize it and they just don't care. Now, if you're the kind of player who's always on the ball, decoding and kiting like a pro, you're golden! You're living the dream, being part of the good side of the match, where the survivors actually manage to get some ciphers done. But, oh, if you're the one sitting in that rocket chair after two hunters have poked you to oblivion, oh honey, it's a whole different vibe. You're just sitting there, watching the cipher machine progress at a snail's pace, wondering if your teammates even know you exist. And then, if you're one of those survivors who decides to kite the two hunters, thinking that your teammates must be cranking out ciphers like it's their job, wrong. You get downed, and you're like, there's no way they haven't done at least 3 ciphers by now, right? So you take a deep breath, thinking you're about to be saved. But to your horror, no ciphers have been decoded. Why? Because everyone's too busy following the hunters around to farm their owls or curse stacks, or, God forbid, finding the perfect moment to take a gunshot at the hunters. No, seriously, that's the entire focus of the match. Your teammates are too busy playing Call of Duty, while you're getting your life drained in a rocket chair. So yeah, in either case, you're just the victim of everyone's shenanigans. It's like the whole match is a group project, and you're the one doing all the work while everyone else is goofing off, acting like they're in a TikTok video. The struggle is real. The rank match waiting time in Identity 5 is a truly unparalleled experience. Honestly, it's like the game is giving you a masterclass in patience, or maybe just slowly turning you into a philosopher. You could probably meditate, consult a psychic, or heck, try to invent a time machine to skip the wait entirely. At this point, I've considered every option, and none of them seem any more insane than sitting there staring at the loading screen like you're waiting for a train that's never gonna come. But let's talk about that estimated waiting time for a second. 3 minutes? Please, that's an outright lie. In reality, it's more like 3 hours of existential dread and wondering if you're just doomed to stare at that countdown until you lose all will to live. You could squeeze in an entire meal during that time, or better yet, take a nap, get some therapy, and then still be on the phone with the therapist when the match finally pops. It's a journey of self-reflection, let's put it that way. And hey, during those long stretches, you've got plenty of time to really sit back and contemplate your life choices. Like, why am I still playing this game? Do I even enjoy this? Was there a point where I decided to subject myself to this torture? But then, just when you think you've hit rock bottom, ding! The match finally starts. And you're like, oh right, I wanted to play this. It's honestly the perfect mix of frustration and forced introspection. Would recommend, but only if you have patience of steel. Ever heard the classic bell noise within the first minute of the match? Well, you know the one. That sweet, sweet sound that signals the absolute chaos that's about to unfold, and you look at the top right of the screen just to confirm. Yep, there it is. One teammate was already incapacitated. Now, you'd think it's just a fluke, right? Maybe they got caught in a weird spot, or miscalculated a kite. Whatever. But no. These Kamikaze teammates are a whole vibe of their own. You know the type, those who run straight to the hunter, and somehow they're already being sent to the chair before the match has even really begun. It's like they're playing a completely different game. One where their sole purpose is to give the hunter a free lunch. No struggle, no effort, just a delightful treat for the hunter. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if these folks turned out to be the hunter's secret accomplices, just in disguise. I mean, they've got the skills of a professional traitor. I'm half expecting them to turn around, wink at the hunter, and be like, "Gotcha, fam!" It's exhausting, really. It's like you're just trying to survive, decode, and maybe get a win, and your teammate's over there trying to make sure the hunter doesn't starve. So thoughtful, right? But hey, at least it gives you something to do while you're carrying the whole team on your back. Entering the post-match chat in IDV is like stepping into a gladiator arena, but with words instead of weapons. You've got survivors throwing every possible insult in the book when they lose a match, like it's their job. Meanwhile, as a hunter, you're just sitting there with your popcorn, sipping tea, and watching the verbal carnage unfold. The energy is chaotic. When the survivors lose, it's like a full-on free-for-all. The blame game starts immediately. And let's just say it never stays PG. The chat turns into this toxic war zone where no one's safe. You suck! Why didn't you rescue? Why didn't you decode? It's a mess, and on rare occasions, it gets real ugly. We're talking personal jabs, nasty comments, and insults that are so harsh, they could burn a hole in your soul. Like, why are we bringing that level of heat into a game? It's just a match, people. It's exhausting, honestly. The post-match chat should just come with a warning sign. Proceed with caution. Expect emotional damage. And after all that drama, you'd think maybe people would just chill for a second, but nah. Instead, the whole thing becomes this endless wall of insults, like some sort of twisted graffiti board where everyone's tagging their hate and frustration. It's so draining to see, especially in rank matches where people are already so tense about their positions. So yeah, the post-match chat is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's basically the dumpster fire of the game. The English chat channel in Identity 5 is like a reality show where anything can happen, and often does. 1 minute, it's a war zone of insults. The next, someone's writing a 5-page essay on why their favorite character is the most balanced, and why certain characters needs buff or nerfs. To which some other people disagree, and then the chat became a war zone of insults, again. Then you've got people pouring their heart out in what can only be described as a sinner's confession, usually about their latest unfortunate encounter with a particularly terrible teammate. Just when you think it can't get weirder, someone will pop in and start selling their painting as if this is some sort of bizarre art market. You know, totally normal stuff. Also, let's not forget about the impromptu American Idol auditions, where suddenly, someone's singing in the chat, probably just trying to add to the chaos for fun. Seriously, is this a game chat, or a variety show at this point? Still, amid all the chaos, it's actually pretty entertaining, as long as you're not the one being dragged into the drama. If you can just sit back and enjoy the dumpster fire from a safe distance, it's low-key hilarious. People losing their minds, screaming at the pings, arguing over simps. It's like watching a live-action soap opera with no script. So yeah, it's a bit of a wild ride. But hey, if you're not involved, it's good fun. Well, folks, those are just a few of the many things that can make you want to throw your phone across the room during an Identity V match. I'm sure you've got your own unique set of frustrations. Share your horror stories in the comments below. This is your broadcaster, Silmina, signing out. Until next time.